Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder here. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You've had a crazy day today, haven't you? Yeah. He earlier today he said hi to Stag, the next door neighbor, and we had a little mini dog wander into the garage, and
It was almost lunch.
yeah, Thor didn't know how to feel about that. So yeah, you've met a couple new dogs today, haven't you? Sort of.
Stag's not a new dog.
Yeah. All right. So what is going on for us? Well, last week was the season premiere or the series premiere of She-Hulk, and we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. Also, we're going to be sharing what Dwayne Johnson said about a potential massive crossover event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be doing our comic reviews and previews, and then telling you what you can expect from this weekend's pop-up comic shop and this Sunday's Whatnot auction. All right, so a pretty packed show today, and we're going to be hanging out with Thor for most of it, right? Right? Yeah. All right.
So when we get inside, do you want to do the summer movie review?
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll do that when we're inside.
Okay, so just add it to the slate here just now. You saw it. We are going to be counting down our summer movie list for 2022. So give you guys an idea of what happens here. We started the tradition back when I was in college.
And you would go off to school somewhere around May the 1st.
Well, I would go to school.
Come back
from school around May the 1st, and I would go back to school around August 15th. So for those 3.5 months, the old man and I would see as many movies as we could, and then at the end of the summer, we would count down our favorites from least to favorite, and we would see how we matched up with each other. So
we had a few years where the top 5 were identical.
So we're going to be counting those down a little later on in the show. So packed show today. All right. When it comes to genetics and gamma radiation, Bruce Banner is usually right, Jennifer. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. All right, so what do we have going on today, Thor? Well, we are talking about a recent interview with Black Adam star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All right, so what did he have to say? Well, he was talking about him playing Black Adam in the upcoming movie from Warner Brothers Discovery. Now that they've been bought out by Discovery, that's what we have to call it now. All right, so, Black Adam, he's a character that fans have wanted to see played on the big screen for a long time, and now it's actually happening. And it's a character that Dwayne has wanted to play for a very long time.
He's natural.
Yep.
I can't believe they wanted him to wear a padded suit.
No, like why?
He cut that down real quick.
All right, so there's already been talk about spin-offs, and Johnson recently pondered the potential of a Marvel versus DC crossover while speaking with interviewer Total Film. And he said, "I am optimistic," he said, "or potentially bringing together the house of ideas in its distinguished competition. Just my nature is optimistic, and especially when it comes to creative, especially when it comes to movies, especially when it comes to the pantheon of DC superheroes and supervillains." And he said, "Across the street, we have the pantheon of superheroes and supervillains of Marvel. To me, they can not only exist, but they should, in my mind, cross paths one day."
I've not seen it, Dwayne.
Well, we know that Johnson has met with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, and he's previously said, "Never say never" when it comes to a potential crossover. Well, unfortunately, a whole heap of legal and financial obstacles likely stand in the way of that ever happening, and right now, DC needs to boost a hell of a lot more than Marvel does.
Exactly. In my opinion, DC needs Marvel for that. Marvel doesn't need DC.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this, it was a skit, it was a comedy, but it makes a good point. when X-Men ended its run with Fox after Dark Phoenix, in the skit, X-Men comes into the president of Marvel's office and says, "All right, I think it's time for us to join the MCU." So after he strings them along and tries to say, "Hey, maybe in a couple years down the road, we'll see what we can do." And when the X-Men get upset, "Hey, we need to get this going now. We're a multi-billion-dollar franchise and all that." So finally, the CEO in the skit loses his patience and says, "Look, in the unstoppable juggernaut that is the MCU, we don't need you." So that's X-Men. I mean, I know it's a skit, but still, I mean, that's pretty much the whole mindset. That's the X-Men, one of their properties. They don't need them to succeed. So why the hell would they go through all this legal trouble for DC?
I don't see where they could put out 3 MCU movies with the effort that would take them to team up with DC and put out 1 movie.
Yep, exactly.
And for the same amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
or half the money. I don't see it.
Well, it would be something to see. And we're pretty sure Feige wouldn't be completely against the idea, because did you know that Feige started his career working alongside Richard Donner?
I did not.
Yeah. So, he actually worked on some Superman projects way back in the day. So, he might be open to negotiations at least. So what do you guys think? Would you like to see a Marvel versus DC movie? And what do you think the odds are of it actually happening? I know what I think the odds are.
I can answer that. Yes, I would like to see it. No, I don't believe it will ever happen.
I mean, it's at the point where you don't really see crossovers in the comic books anymore nowadays. I mean, they used to be back in the 90s. I mean, DC and Marvel, they could put out some kind of crossover comic, every other month or so. But nowadays, with all the big companies owning DC and Marvel now, it's you can't even get it to happen on paper anymore.
No, I just don't see the need for it.
Yeah.
But
would like to see it. All right, so there's thoughts on Dwayne Johnson. All right, now on to what we watched on Disney Plus this past week, the premiere of She-Hulk. All right, so if you haven't watched it yet, first of all, you should. Hey buddy, where are you going? Where are you going?
Perfect.
Your name's Thor. You're a Marvel representative, so you need to chill out here.
Back it up.
All right. All right. So if you haven't watched it yet, you need to watch it. If you haven't though, maybe skip ahead a little bit and go to, I guess, where we're sitting inside. All right. So the premiere of She-Hulk. They changed a little bit of Jennifer Walters' origin story.
They changed a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. But that's to be expected in a comic book adaptation.
I don't know if it's expected or not. Sometimes it's just unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. One of the big things that's still a mystery is you see the ship come down in front of their car, and that's what causes the wreck. What was that ship? And also, why did it just get up and leave? I mean, you would think whoever came down to land right in front of them, they would follow through on whatever they came here for. I think it might be the Grand Master, Jeff Goldblum's character in Thor Ragnarok, either Grand Master or one of his representatives, looking to get his champion back. That's my thought, but it's still that's still a bit of a mystery, and maybe we'll see what happens at the end of the show in an after credit scene, something like that, maybe. All right, so we know that, and then we see Jennifer coming to terms with being a Hulk, and also we saw a little bit of her law career, and I think we're going to be getting into that full time in the second episode. So, old man, your thoughts?
I thought it was very entertaining,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a typical first episode.
Yeah.
You have to get from A to C, or maybe even A to D in that first episode, so that you can start telling the story.
Mm.
So, I thought it was good. I mean, you know how much I like the actress. What's her name?
Tatiana Maslany.
From Orphan Black.
Yes,
I thought
probably.
she was great in Orphan Black,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't expect any less of her in this show.
Now, a lot of fans were criticizing the CGI of She-Hulk in the trailers before the premiere.
I didn't see the trailers.
Did you think they do you feel like they ironed out the problems and it looked good for the most part?
Once again, I didn't see the trailers. I don't know what the problems were, but I thought she looked fine.
Okay. All right. So there was that, and also, you know, they made a couple references to what Bruce and Tony were up to during the blip. So
Yeah,
that was kind of
covered
interesting. Kind of interesting to hear. Also, not to give too much away, because if you ever watched us and you hear us talking about, you know, upcoming shows and movies, you know the old man does not watch trailers, or at least he doesn't watch trailers for MCU stuff.
Correct.
Because, you know, and you know, She-Hulk was no exception. They give too much away in the trailers.
But they didn't give anything away to me.
No.
Because I didn't watch them.
So the guest stars that we are going to have coming up in the future, you know, you guys who watch the trailers, you know what I'm talking about. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. So what do you think is going to happen with these people, individuals? And do you think there are a few surprises in store for us that they didn't show you in the trailer?
And you can answer this in the comments, because I don't read the comments. He reads them to me so he can...
I'll filter out anything that I don't want him to know.
Right.
So, you know, just to give you guys, well, this is why he doesn't watch trailers. It was Captain America Civil War, which is what caused him to swear off Marvel trailers. You know, him at the end of the trailer seeing Spider-Man making his MCU debut for Captain America Civil War. The fact that that was spoiled in the trailer, the old man said, "Nah, I'm done. I'm not doing trailers anymore."
I mean, I can't imagine watching that movie, not knowing it was coming, and all of a sudden, Tony goes, "Spider-Rouge," and Spider-Man drops in. I would have come up out of the seat, but since I'd already seen that, it was like,
Yeah, I mean, do you think? Did you think less people were gonna come see the movie if they hadn't seen Spider-Man in the trailer? No, I don't think so. So yeah, so that's why he doesn't watch trailers anymore. So what do you guys think? A lot of fun surprises in store for us for She-Hulk still, even if you have watched the trailers. Let us know about it. All right, so we're going to be pretty busy the next few weeks, because we got a lot of reaction videos coming up in the next month or so. We got She-Hulk, and we're going to be doing our first ever non-Disney Plus reaction video for Lord of the Rings of Power. I thought about doing a reaction video for House of the Dragon, for Game of Thrones, but I mean, we're already got a pretty packed schedule.
and
so
everybody will do a reaction video to that.
yeah, so I decided against it. You know, maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but for now we're not going to do that. And we have Andor coming up in September that we're going to be doing reaction videos for. That's why they moved She-Hulk to Thursdays, because you know they didn't want it to interfere with viewing for Wednesday Andor when it comes out.
No, that's not it. I called them up and I said, "Look, we do reaction videos on some of your shows, and we can't have two come out the same day."
Ah, okay, gotcha. All right, so that is our recap of She-Hulk. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's head into the basement and let's count down the summer movies.
You can't go, you can't go.
All right, for our summer movie countdown, we kind of had a light summer this year. We saw 12 movies. Usually it's somewhere between, like, I would say 15 to 20 most years.
Whether it was the 1 year of the Movie Pass.
Yeah, we saw a lot of movies that year when we got Movie Pass.
Yep.
That was, I mean, we knew when we got it wasn't going to last.
Oh, impossible business model. There was no way they could sustain that.
I mean, even when they explained what their model was, it still made no sense.
Right. I mean, to allow guys like me and EMoney to go to as many movies as we wanted to without paying any extra.
Mm-hmm. For, what was it, $10 a month?
$10 a month.
I mean, even $20 a month. Like, okay, sure, take it.
We'd have done fine if it was $50 a month.
Yeah. But, yeah, so we saw a lot of movies that year. But this year we saw 12 from May 1st to August 15th. And we're going to count them down to see how we measure up in our rankings.
So we've gone to separate parts of the room and put them in order. So this is where we compare and see how we did. So,
all right, let's see how we did.
all right,
I go first. Okay. So my number 12 pick for the summer, Firestarter.
As was mine.
All right, number 12. All right.
There.
Okay. My number 11 pick for the summer, The Northman.
Ooh. Yeah.
No?
Mine was Nope.
Nope. Okay. Well, I was never a big fan of the director who did Northman's work, directing style. I guess Northman was probably one I liked more than a lot of his other stuff, but still. Nope. You disliked a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I thought it was pointless.
All right. So I'm going to get to a quick note on that when it gets to where I ranked it. All right, number 10. Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Same for me.
All right, so I mean, Minions, pretty by the number stuff. You know what to expect going in.
Right.
So not bad. Just know what to expect. All right, number 9, Lightyear.
We tied again.
All right, so another 2 in a row. All right, my number 8 pick, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Ooh.
No.
Well, usually you rank your Harry Potter franchise movies higher than me. This is the first year that didn't work that way. All right, so my number 8 was The Northman.
Okay. Well, my number 7, finally, I get to Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, so we
difference
disagreed
there.
on that. All right, so in Nope, just to be clear, if you guys have seen Nope, if you haven't, I guess skip ahead a little bit. For Nope, so the whole flashback scene with Stephen Cho's character
Pointless.
and the chimpanzee on the sitcom, totally pointless.
Had nothing to do with the main story of the movie.
No, in fact, Stephen Cho's Stephen Yo's whole character had almost nothing to do with the overall story. I mean, the only thing his character was gooding for was setting up the final confrontation between our heroes and the creature. So yeah, didn't like that part. All right, where am I at? I'm at number 7. So number 6, Thor: Love and Thunder.
All right, my number 6 was Black Phone.
Okay, my number 5 was Black Phone.
Mine was Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, okay. Have you said Thor: Love and Thunder yet?
No, it was number 7. I think you kind of skipped over me when you started talking about Nope.
I'm sorry.
That's
So
right.
old man's number 7 was Thor: Love and Thunder. So we got that one pretty close too. All right. So did you say your number 5?
Fantastic Beasts.
And mine was Black Phone. All right. Number 4, Bullet Train.
Oh, so usually our top 4 come close to matching up. My number 4 was Jurassic World Dominion.
Okay. I mean, I know a lot of people had a problem with a little less bugs, a little more dinosaurs, please. But I still liked it. All right, so number 3, Top Gun: Maverick.
The same.
Okay, so that makes, I'm guessing your number 2 is going to be Bullet Train.
That would be correct.
Okay, mine was Jurassic World Dominion,
So,
which
once
makes our number
again,
1.
which happens quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Our number 1s are the same, which was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
All right, there you go. All right, so Thor: Love and Thunder ranking so low for both of us. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to most people who saw Thor: Love and Thunder. If you rank the MCU movies overall, Thor: Love and Thunder is going to rank pretty low, unfortunately.
Well, the director has turned Thor into a buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
He's just comic relief from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my Thor.
And they right now, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it ranks even lower than Thor: The Dark World, the second Thor movie.
It should. In Thor: The Dark World, he was not a buffoon.
And I mean, Thor: The Dark World had its own problems, and it ranked pretty low in overall rankings.
I thought it was all right. It was dark.
Right. And
Dark.
yeah. But people not liking Thor: Love and Thunder. A lot of people are saying Taka, he took all of the wrong aspects of what made Thor Ragnarok so great and, increased it tenfold in Thor: Love and Thunder. And he says, I remember one person saying, after all these years of boring competency in MCU movies, you finally get Thor: Love and Thunder. It's like, oh man, like finally, I'm getting Iron Man 2 vibes all over again. Which, I didn't hate Iron Man 2, but a lot of people didn't. All right, so no surprise, Thor: Love and Thunder, but Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, not my favorite MCU movie of all time, but it was fun. We enjoyed it. Some good stuff in there.
Keep in mind, in movies, we grade them on a 4 popcorn scale. And I've never given more than 1 4 in any calendar year. No 4s at all this year so far. I gave Doctor Strange 3.5.
Okay, so still fun stuff for us. We had our issues with it, but that's to be expected. But I liked Jurassic World Dominion more than you. We both really liked Bullet Train. That was our last movie of the summer. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, pretty good summer overall, if not a short one.
Not bad.
All right, so there's our rankings. What did you guys think of the summer movies? Let us know what you thought in the comments section. What was your favorite movie of the summer, and what was your most hated or least favorite of the summer?
Well, what I like for him to tell us is, if you look at movies that were released between May the 1st and August the 15th, what movie did you see that we didn't, that we should have seen?
I mean, the only movie that was on our list that we really wanted to see that we didn't get to was Elvis. Everything else that we might have had on the schedule, if we missed it, it's like, that's all right. All right, so let us know what you think in the comments. All right, now on to our comic book reviews for this week. All right, so if you've never seen us do this, we grade comics on a 5-shield rating system. We give them each 2 scores, one for writing and story, and the other one for artwork. And then we combine them together to give it an average overall score. All right, so first up, our mentions this week. And
first up was a Marvel comic. It's Strange number 5. Doctor Strange is dead. His wife Clea is now the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth.
All right. So, in this issue, Clea pays a visit to Moon Knight to seek some advice or some counsel from him because, Clea, her husband, Stephen, is dead, and Moon Knight seems to play pretty fast and loose with death and everything, and, has come back several times. So, she goes to Mr. Knight, who kind of gives off a mob boss or crime boss sort of nostalgia to him.
I guess I can see that.
A woman comes to him and says, this guy's peddling dope on a street corner, trying to sell it to her kid, and he's like, consider it taken care of. So Clea comes to him for some help, and he's like, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, but this is a work night for me, so we're going to have to talk and run. So he goes off on his patrol, takes care of that drug dealer problem the lady mentioned. And, they kind of talk as they go, and Clea kind of hangs back for the most part because, Moon Knight doesn't need a whole lot of help for, street-level thugs. At one point during the night, the Moon Knight is trying to get some information out of the thug, and, he would probably get it out of him eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, Clea says, allow me to take care of this.
She gets a little impatient.
Yeah. She unleashes a little bit of dark magic and gets it out of the guy a heck of a lot faster than Moon Knight would have.
Keep in mind, she was the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. So she's got some evil mojo going.
Yeah.
She definitely uses it on this cat.
And after that, after showing her dark side, she shows her compassion to a couple of hostages who are being held. And, puts her hand out and says, I'm Clea, I'm here to help you. So, also in this issue, a being called, the Harvestman, that's his name. The Harvestman, who is Death's Sorcerer Supreme.
I didn't know there were so many Sorcerers Supreme.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. He reveals his identity and, reveals it to us, the reader, not to Clea or anybody, but reveals it to us, and that becomes a bit of a revelation.
Yeah, that's kind of a game changer.
Yeah, so some things change here, and I don't know if they're going to mark this as a key issue or not, but it could end up being a minor key. for you speculators out there. All right, so Strange number 5 ends up with
3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 rounded up. All right, our next mention this week.
All right, now this is another example of how Marvel will restart a comic or start with another number 1, make another volume, but keep track of how many actual issues there have been. So if you look at the cover of Daredevil number 2, it is also the 650th Daredevil, which means that's a keynote number. We got to make a thicker comic and sell it for a higher price, which they did. Daredevil number 2.
All right. So in this issue, one of Matt's childhood friends, he is revealed to have some kind of a strange power. The way his power works, that he can make terrible things happen, but the voices in his head tell him to do these things because in the long run, they will lead to a more positive outcome. Like, just for an example, some tragedy befalls a future superhero, and then the path they take from that tragedy ends up saving hundreds, thousands of people. So, he commits the initial tragedy in order for a better outcome to turn out in the long run.
The needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many.
Right. So, Daredevil is chasing him all over New York. What? Oh, you trying? Okay. There you go. All right, so Daredevil is trying to stop him, and at one point, some wreckage falls onto Daredevil, and he gets pinned under a beam, and some New Yorkers come to his aid. And Daredevil is trying to tell them to get away, and says, this guy makes terrible things happen. And one lady says to him, terrible things happen all the time. My little brother was in a car crash a couple years ago, and then a man dressed like the devil pulled him out. So horrible things happen, and it's just about what you do to help that matters. So, that scene kind of, hit me right in the feels there.
You're so emotional.
Hey, I like Good Samaritans in comics. That's, it takes me back to Spider-Man 2. Same basic feels to it.
Well, in that case, you'll like the fact that Sylvester Stallone's movie Samaritan is coming out soon.
Right. All right. So, also at the end of this issue, you get a cover gallery, and it shows you, all the different covers that have come out since the very beginning.
All 650 of them.
Mm-hmm. And I actually noticed a couple of ours from our inventory that are in here.
We got a few Daredevils.
Yep. The one featuring Man Shall Call Him Ox. I was surprised how early on that was.
It's like number 14, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Number 14, 15. All right, so Daredevil, the anniversary issue, I guess, 650. Number 2 ends up with
the same 3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 rounded up. All right, so there's our mentions for this week. Now it's on to our top 3.
All right, now y'all will be surprised to know that no tie this week. No tie. Yes. Anyway, number 3 on our hit parade, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, number 6.
All right, so it says Batman, Superman on the cover, but this issue, for the most part, is a Robin comic.
It's definitely a Robin book.
Right. All right, so Robin, from previous issues, has become trapped in time. And he ends up being thrown into 1892. So, being trapped in this time, Robin, he goes back to what he knows best, and he joins up with a circus troupe.
That's just a natural progression.
Mm-hmm. So, he finds out things going on in this circus troupe, and a couple of people have been attacked by animals, and they think that it's their resident lions and bears. And Robin is convinced that they're not to blame, and promises that he'll get to the bottom of it. So, he launches an investigation to find out what really happened. And also having to use 19th century technology to do it, and forensics as it is. In the meantime, Batman, Superman, Supergirl, and the Doom Patrol start to investigate to find out where Robin is or when Robin is and how to rescue him. And
It's good to see them using the Doom Patrol once in a while.
right? So some cool stuff here, and Robin eventually gets to the bottom of what happens with the animals, and excellent artwork also in World's Finest. So World's Finest number 6 ends up at our number 3 spot with
3.5 shields.
3.5 shields.
All
All right, next up.
Next up. Last week there was Ms. Marvel and Wolverine, and there just looks like they're going to do a whole series of these books where Ms. Marvel moves on in the storyline to team up with somebody else. So this is Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight number 1.
All right, so Moon Knight guest starring once again. All right, so in this one, Ms. Marvel has tracked the robot drone creatures to Moon Knight's neighborhood, and she goes to Mr. Knight to find out if he knows anything, and so he decides to go out on patrol with her. And while Moon Knight is handling one situation, Miss Marvel, with her keen eye, spots something suspicious in a building nearby. And they go to investigate and find out that the creatures have holed up inside this building.
Robots, creatures, whatever.
Yeah. And so they set out to rescue the tenants of the building while also dealing with these creatures. And I gotta give credit to the artist on this one. Really well done. A lot of the close-ups of Miss Marvel, really realistic. I was very impressed, especially for an artist that I hadn't previously heard of. This artist's name is Ibrahim Robertson. So look him up if you're a comic artist enthusiast. All right, so Miss Marvel and Moon Knight number 1, just a one shot. Ends up with,
after we rounded it up, 4 shields.
4 shields. Next week is Miss Marvel and Venom number 1. So that should be interesting.
Well, what befuddles me is the price of the Ms. Marvel back issues. They're dropping.
Really?
I mean, I guess people didn't like the show, and I don't get it because I thought the show was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, disappointing.
Yep. All right. Next up.
All right. Now, it's rare that the old man tells you need to read this comic, but you need to read this comic. They're going to do a whole series of Batman One Bad Day, and everybody knows EMoney and the old man like Batman. It's not a secret. But this is a rare gem. I would put this up with, Brian Boland's Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. Not in the artwork. The artwork is okay, or it has scored much higher than it did. But the writing, EMoney and I both gave it the highest score in writing, 5. Don't remember that ever happening before. But this is one heck of a book.
The Last Ronin, I think
Okay.
we gave, one of us gave it a 5. Maybe one gave it a 4, one gave it a 5. But yeah, doesn't happen very often.
Yep. And here is Batman One Bad Day, the Riddler, number 1.
All right. So in this issue, the Riddler reveals that he is done playing with kid gloves. And apparently he has been fighting, doing crime with one hand tied behind his back the whole time.
He's been holding back.
Yeah.
Woo!
For a long time, we always believed, like Batman believed, that, whenever he commits a crime, robs a bank, whatever, and he leaves a clue or a riddle behind, it's like a uncontrollable compulsion to him. He has to leave clues because it's him trying to prove that he's smarter than everybody else by, creating these riddles and games. Well, apparently in this issue, it shows that he did that so that, Batman or the police or whoever would have a fighting chance of catching him. And that he didn't have to do that. So in this issue, we see a couple flashback scenes as to how he got his start as a criminal. But then in the current stuff, we see him in Arkham decide that he wants out and that he's gonna go, and his manipulation of all of the Arkham guards and what he knows about them and how he can get them to do what they want or what he wants. Also, a big revelation early on here with him and Gordon, and he's in the interrogation room, and he says, like, how did you think the Joker knew that you would be home with Barbara that day? How did he know where she lived, and how did he get past your security?
A reference to the Killing Joke again, where the Joker shoots Barbara.
Mm-hmm. And he says, we both know him, and we both know he's never been much of a planner, which I'm not sure I agree with that part.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And, he infers that the Joker called him up, and he says, hey, what do you think I should do for my next thing here? And he says, well, hey, what about Gordon and Barbara? And that he, gave Joker the idea for the whole thing. And so big revelation there. And also revealing that, he knows everything about Batman.
Well, to me, one of the most staggering scenes, except maybe for the very last page, is he's in Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
Batman confronts him, and they're standing eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
And Riddler threatens Batman with a threat that is so incredibly powerful that Batman lets him walk. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Riddler reveals not playing with kid gloves anymore, and I hope they follow up with this. I don't know. I mean, I hope they aren't, go back to your typical Riddler next time we see him, but I hope they keep going with this version of him, and so we can see what Batman's going to do about him.
I mean, with what they did with the Riddler in this book, one of the issues coming up is Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Bane was already incredibly just heinous.
Mm-hmm.
How much worse can you make Bane?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
All right, so Batman, One Bad Day, The Riddler, #1, our #1 pick for this week. Both gave it 5 shields for writing, but because of artwork, it ends up with 4 shields.
4 shields. We only gave it 3 for artwork. The artwork was okay.
Right.
It just wasn't
top notch.
Wasn't like Jim Lee level.
Right. So ends up our #1 pick, 4 shields overall out of 5.
Correct.
All right, so what's coming up this week?
All right, this week, back to a pretty good sized week. We have Batman Fortress #4, which is a book I've thoroughly enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Gunslinger Spawn #11, which was delayed from last week. Public Domain, that Chip Zdarsky, #3. And Grimm #4, a book that they're saying is the next Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
So, some good stuff.
All right, so get them at your local comic book shop now. All right, that is it for our reviews for this week. Now, on to what you can expect from EMoney and the Old Man sales this weekend. All right, so our pop-up comic shop is this Saturday. It's going to be Saturday the 27th, and it's going to be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's going to be at 7002 Brookbend Way, Louisville, Kentucky. And we're going to have all kinds of comic books, toys, action figures, DVDs, and Blu-rays for you guys. All right, so for a preview of what you can expect at our pop-up shop, I didn't really have a theme this week. I just
No theme?
No theme. I just kind of grabbed some great comics at random. All right, so comic books. We have comic books that are going to be starting at $1 and going up, and we're going to have a lot of great keys for you guys as well. All right, so for our comic preview, first up, we have an issue from the late, great Mr. Neil Adams. This is Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 78, with Neil Adams cover art right there.
That was part of the no, I guess it's not part of the drug story. But it is when they was teaming up Green Lantern and Green Arrow. That was a nice run.
Mm-hmm. Then next up, we have from DC, Detective Comics number 387, and this is the Batman 30th anniversary issue. And it says here, like Batman, he's holding up the two biggest Batman issues, Detective 27 and Batman #1. And he says, well, Robin, you ready for another 30 years? To which I believe he was, because Batman came out in 39, so 30th anniversary would have been 69, so another 30 years would have been 1999. So, yep, I'd say they were good for it.
Couple times over.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then finally, we have a lot of great early, the first 100 Amazing Spider-Man issues. Nothing super low, unfortunately. The lowest Amazing Spider-Man we have is number 44. But, we have a lot of great issues in between that. So, including this one, Amazing Spider-Man number 78. And this is the first appearance of the Prowler. The Prowler in modern comics is, of course, Miles Morales' uncle. But obviously not the same character here. All right, so we have all these and a whole lot more coming up this Saturday. And then also our toys that we're going to have this weekend. And we have 2 shipments of toys that are coming in this week. One came in Tuesday, another one coming in Thursday if you're watching this on Wednesday. So 2 shipments of all new stuff if you've ever been to our sale before. So I did give you guys a little preview of stuff we already have. First up, we got just last week, we got a couple new Marvel Select figures. And what Marvel Selects are these really cool, really well detailed scenery action figures from Marvel. And
They're like a mini diorama.
Pretty much. And here you have Captain America, and it's the World War II version. And he's wearing his old school shield and Captain America World War II outfit. And I think we have 12 Marvel Selects right now, so you can check all those out this Saturday.
These are nice looking toys.
Mm-hmm. Then, if you're watching the Sandman on Netflix right now, we have a couple of figures here to go for your collection. These are both from DC Direct. First up, we have the Sandman Incarnations, the Arabian Nights. And this has 3 figures here. 2 versions of Sandman, I guess.
Of the Dream.
And then you have the nightmare-eating Baku right here.
Whatever that is.
Right. I mean, you ask me, he looks a little bit like that thing from Thundercats. All right, then, to accompany this one, you have, also from the Sandman, Desire right here. Also from DC Direct. And the old man and I haven't quite finished the Sandman, but Desire just showed up in the previous episode we watched. All right, so all these and a lot more going to be available Saturday. All right, so that's Saturday. Now, tell you guys about what we're going to be doing on Whatnot on Sunday. So the old man and I are going to be hosting our next auction on Whatnot, the Whatnot app, and you can download it from the App Store if you haven't already. And you can find us streaming at 6 p.m. Sunday. It's going to be 6 Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to be auctioning off an all Marvel auction. We're going to have stuff from Marvel Legends, 90s Marvel Toy Biz items, and a lot of other great stuff from Marvel. So it's going to be exciting. So I hope you can join us for that. You can find us on Whatnot if you download the app, EMoney and the Old Man, no spaces. And you can follow us, and they'll send you a notification letting you know when we're streaming. And you can follow a lot of other people on Whatnot. And you can find whatever you're into, comic books, action figures, toys, trading cards, whatever you guys like. All right, so that is our sales for this weekend. Now, let's go back upstairs into the garage with Thor. All right, that's about going to do it for today's episode. Did you have fun, buddy? Did you have fun? Yeah? All right. You've been so good today. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes. Don't you burp at me.
You did.
All right. So be sure to come by our garage this Saturday. It's going to be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. 7002 Brookbend Way. We're going to have a lot of great deals for you. Come check us out. Or if you're not in the Louisville area and you can't stop by, join us Sunday on the Whatnot app. You can download it from the App Store. And join us for our auction. It's going to be 6 p.m. It's gonna be Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna have a lot of great deals there too. Also, join us for our She-Hulk reaction video tomorrow, which is Thursday if you're watching this on Wednesday. All right, I think that's about everything. So you can get some EMoney and the Old Man action every day this week. Wednesday, Thursday, okay, not Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, I don't know about you, it's been another day in paradise.